Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the second of a three-part series about Memphis, cost of living, rate of return, and investments. This one's called the Memphis Paycheck Reality Check. And you've probably heard that Memphis is one of the most affordable cities in the U.S. I'm sure you've heard that by now. But what does affordable really mean? We're going to crack that open today on this episode of the Current Temp. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you to Bill Gerner for being here as well. He's a senior portfolio manager, a partner of mine at Equity Management Company of Tennessee, emctn.com. You can ask us any questions there. And a huge shout out and a thank you to our friends at Lexus of Memphis. If you haven't gone by there, you need to go by and see their unbelievable products, top tier. They are the gold standard, and they're just that good with service as well. Fantastic men and women. This is an interesting one, Bill. We're going to talk today about poverty in Memphis. And what we're really going to set the stage for is our third episode about how do we invest and maybe break out of this. The question starts with, what is the poverty line? And before we get to the actual number that is the poverty line, I think we've got to answer the question, what is poverty? And I don't know that everybody has a clear view and you think, okay, poverty means I just don't have money. It's really being in a very severe financial state where you just don't have the resources to meet what's even a basic standard of living. And the standard of living changes. That's part of this equation. So why are we talking about the poverty line and why is it so important, finding out that number? Because getting help starts there. The poverty line is the official gateway financially to being able to request financial assistance or food stamps or discounts or help with college or help with senior citizens, people that really need that help, and we know that they really need that in the Mid-South. All right, this is where it's about to get interesting, and I want to get your thoughts. These are the 2026 federal poverty guidelines for a single person on the left, family of three in the middle, and a family of four on the right. If you're a single person in Memphis and you make just under 16 grand a year, you are officially at the poverty line, and of course, anything below that. And you can do the numbers here. If you're a family of three, but as a whole family, if you're only bringing in $27,000, you're at the poverty line. And of course, you can see it just goes up from there. Family of four, $33,000. We talked about this briefly. Do these numbers surprise you?
They do. I didn't know what it was, but I guess we realized that there's really not enough money to live on and survive.
Well, and I think I read recently the median salary in Memphis for a single person is around $32,000 to $33,000. And for those of us who are a little older in years, I'm going to count myself and you among those, we have to really keep track of where is inflation, which we're about to get to, and what is the minimum wage, which we're about to get to. But this is a great starting point for people to be able to gauge where they are. If you're a single person and you're making 16 grand or less, hopefully we can figure out ways to move forward because you're just not being able to make your basic necessities. All right, this is where it gets super interesting. You've got three tiers here of living comfortably. You've got your basic living wage. If you make 43 grand a year or almost 44, that's where you're only going to be able to afford the necessities. What does it take to live comfortably is the middle one. Okay, if you're going to live comfortably in Memphis, Tennessee, or the Mid-South, you really have to make between 60 and 65. And what comfortable means, and this is all on average, is you're paying your bills and you got a little bit of savings. You're not going crazy, but you've got a little bit of savings. And strong financial comfort, which is supposed to mean, okay, I can get some wants in there as well, some things I want. You're supposed to make around 86.3 or higher. Now, I broke down the numbers on this, what this means.
Is that a single person, Joey?
All single.
Okay. On your 86.3 savings, does that mean they have a retirement plan or emergency fund? Do you know?
That means they have a little bit in savings.
Okay.
That means you've got just enough. So the top one, you're barely making it. You're barely paying everything
paycheck to paycheck
just to live on with the basic necessities. Comfortably means you're paying your bills and you got a little bit of savings, a little bit extra. Strong financial comfort in Memphis and the Mid-South, 86 grand or above means you're taking care of your necessities, a couple of things you want, and you have a little bit of savings. Now, this is where I thought it got super interesting and hitting home. This top tier, basic living wage, $21 an hour. This middle tier in Memphis, is around $30 an hour. If you're making that, you're doing okay. And if you're making $40 an hour or more, you're supposed to be in this strong, that's 86 grand a year. So for these 3 annual salaries, roughly $20 a year, $30 a year, $40 a year. What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't know the numbers, but it looks like it's correct to me. I mean, it looks like if a single person could easily have a little left over at 86.3.
Well, and as I was looking at this and thinking about the cost of things in Memphis, most people know this, I think, by now. Our costs are relatively low versus the rest of the nation. It still seems expensive to us because our salaries are so low overall. But like MLGW, we have one of the lowest MLGW rates or utility rates in the whole country. Now, it still hits us hard because our median wage is below the basic necessity. Our median wage is 33 grand. And so these are the national averages, but they also apply to Memphis. But we do have a lower cost of living. However, I know lots of people who are not living comfortably. They're not making 60 to 65. It's a tough job market out there.
Yeah, and I think if you are in the top one, the 43.9, and you have a credit card, I think you would have a tendency to overcharge.
Well, and we see a big problem with that, don't we? Where people are having to go to the credit card just to buy basic necessities because of that issue.
Well, that's kind of understandable because the cost of food and energy is, high.
Great lead in to this. Let's talk about the basic living cost in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay. I've got my categories on the left, and let's stick with the monthly amount on the right. Now, these are averages. These are low-end averages for basic living. So these are going to seem low to some. And understand, I did the research. Some housing is cheaper than $1,000 a month. Some is much, much more expensive. We're looking at a median average here. But just to have a place to live is going to cost you roughly $1,000 a month in Memphis, unless you find a better deal. Food for one person, and I thought this was on the low end, but if you're just covering the basic necessities, $365. However, with inflation, which we talked about last week, that takes a hit because things cost more. Transportation, being able to get around, whether it's the bus, Uber, you've got your own car, you got to have gas, hopefully you have insurance, $760 a month, healthcare, medical, internet. I'm looking at this and thinking about our pay scale in the Mid-South, and it's opening my eyes to what we're facing here. I mean, this is a tough situation.
It is. And as I look at the bottom line, the other necessities and miscellaneous, and I was just thinking if a person smokes, then I looked up the average cost, and the average cost of a pack of cigarettes in the United States is $11.40. The average cost of a pack of cigarettes in New York is $14.50. And the average cost in Memphis is between $8 and $9.40. So if you took the $9.40, they smoke a pack a day, you multiply it times 365, that's around $3,300. And so if you do smoke, I think that miscellaneous would jump up some.
Here's why I like that example, because you're trying to find a way someone can attack this.
Right.
And that's a great point, that if you smoke, and we know that's an addiction, we know that that's something that body physically craves, but if you are in a dire situation and you're thinking to yourself, how can I make a change? That's one way. If you're able to cut back or quit your smoking, you're talking about $3,000 roughly, depending on your habit. And that money can go towards things like investing. And that's really what we're moving towards. As we go to next week, which is going to be our third episode in this series, we're going to talk about the basics, the foundational basics of investing, what risk reward looks like, and that means how much risk you take versus the reward when it comes to investing your money, and how people can make money over time. The reason I wanted to break this down, and I'm glad you gave that example about the possibility of quitting smoking, is I want us to be able to tell people, here are some ways you can try to find some funds to begin investing for yourself, to break this cycle and maybe build some wealth for yourself.
Right, and I think that's the goal, is the awareness of it and how you can improve and how you can increase your income where you have extra.
All right, listen, folks, Bill and I both work at EMC. equity management company. And our goal, of course, what we do every day is manage portfolios for folks. But the reason we do episodes like this is we want to help educate as well, so we can build a foundation for the future, for the little ones, for you, for your family, to get an understanding of how finance works, so that one day you grow that portfolio, and we'd love to talk to you and help you with that. Until then, if you've got questions, go ahead.
I have one thing. I thought that you made a great point on the poverty level. I can't remember the number, but I think you said if you do qualify, you get help, and you gave some examples. I think food stamps was one and a couple more, but I think that's important for people because I think we should help them, and I think that they should understand that it's not the end of the world. There is help out there.
100%, and that's why I wanted to make sure we were making a distinction so people could have perspective. Am I at a point where I can get some assistance, and then can I get some education or information to help me move forward? And that's what we want to accomplish here. All right, folks, again, this was episode 2 of 3. Now, coming up next week, we are going to talk about risk reward and what a foundational investment looks like, so that you can begin maybe yourself at home starting to plan and build your own future. And we want to help you get there by giving you information and educating you along the way. All right, for Bill Gerner and myself, thank you for being here.
Hey.
Oh, and you know why? Finance matters. Thank you.